What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel, back with another review for you guys, and today we're going to be reviewing the 1990 film Pledge Night. This was sent to me by review from 101 Films. Unfortunately, I have the check disc for this one, so I can't show you guys the artwork in person, but I will post a picture up here. This is from their Red Label line. If you guys are interested in picking this up, this is available April 26th. And it is Region B locked, so if you guys are overseas and Region B, then this is definitely one to pick up. There is also a U.S. release from Vinegar Syndrome of this. If you guys are here in the U.S., then this is the one to pick up if you're not region free. Now, if you are region free and you're like me and you're a collector of physical media and you want to support the boutique labels, then definitely pick this one up as well if you're interested in it. So, with all that being said, I want to thank 101 Films for sending this out, and this is the same disc as the Vinegar Syndrome, in fact, the special features and with the Vinegar Syndrome title screen. So, let's move on to the actual film. Alright, so this movie is first half like sex comedy, second half horror film. So, it's basically two movies in one. This was directed by Paul Ziller, who did a slew of straight-to-video horror films and then has recently moved on to actually doing like Hallmark Channel films in more recent times, which is kind of an interesting choice. This is a cast of pretty much unknowns, even though some of them did go on to keep a pretty stable career in film and television, but no names to really mention. But overall, the acting was good enough for what it needed to be for this kind of film. Now, before I jump into the story more, I will say this film was submitted 5 times to the MPAA, so a lot of the kill scenes and things like that were really cut down a lot and were not the scenes they originally imagined, but overall the kills were still pretty decent. So I just wanted to kind of throw that out there in case anyone watches this and wonders why some of them are kind of tame. But that is the reasoning why. So moving on to the story, it's a basic, pretty simple plot line of pledges trying to join this fraternity and going through their hazing rituals and things like that, pulling pranks on them, forcing them to do certain things, as in eating worms, getting your face covered with cockroaches, things like that. There's a scene in here where they do like a race where they have to pick up a cherry with their butt cheeks, and then in the end someone has to end up eating said cherry. Things like that. And I'm not going to spoil everything for you guys. I want you guys to actually watch this because this is actually a pretty good time of a film. Which I'll cover at the end, my overall thoughts. But so I'm not going to give everything away, and I'm going to try to make this review not so long. But yeah, it's a pretty fun time in the first half of all of the pranks and the hazings and all that stuff. There's a point in time where they have this pig party and are in what has to be the smallest bar in the world, and they're there with girls and things like that. There's some nudity and stuff, and there's some other nudity throughout this film, and yeah, it's just them having a good time, blowing off some steam. And during that process too, they have a corn cob tied around their neck connected to their manhood. So you have a lot of different things going on, like I say, for these hazing rituals. Again, I'm not going to spoil everything, but just to touch on a few of the things that happen. So that's your first half of this film, and then when they get to a point where they're going over talking about this coffin where this person rest, and it's supposed to be this serious overtone going on, you hear some kind of maniacal laughing and things like that going on, and they're trying to figure out what it is. And what it is fraternity brother Dan, who is supposed to be kind of pretending to be the one who's kind of crazy and things like that to kind of scare the pledges, and come to find out the fellow frat brothers I think he does have some sort of brain tumor and things like that. But yeah, his laugh is something else.
Damn, man, sure can holler, can he?
So yeah, he pretty much snaps and doing his laugh, which got kind of annoying. But that's probably like my least favorite part about this movie is this his laugh. But I know some people probably enjoy it, and that's cool too. So he pretty much goes crazy and he's killing people, things like that. Again, I'm not going to give away all of the kills. But I will say it starts with one that's kind of given away by the cover and things like that and some poster art. There is a scene where a guy is using the restroom and gets his manhood ripped off. Now, it doesn't really show this in the movie because they had to, make so many cuts to this film. Originally, there was like crunches and stuff, and you could hear the agony and things like that. But it's toned down quite a bit in this film after all the final cuts and everything. It's too bad they couldn't, get that original cuts of the film and, insert that. But anyways, at a certain point, the main killer comes out of Dan in a pretty cool scene, and they go into great detail in the features about how they do this. And you have the character of Acid Sid, who is your main killer of this film. And you get a little bit of a backstory of how this character came to be from something that happened 20 years prior, and a hazing ritual gone wrong. A pledge was going through one of the rituals, and it was supposed to be a mix of stuff that would not harm you, and there was some kind of acid thrown into the mix, and he ended up dying. This is a brief cameo from Anthrax frontman Joey Belladonna, who also provided a lot of the music for this film. The Anthrax music, it can be found throughout certain scenes, which is a nice touch, especially if you're a fan of that band. And from my understanding from watching the features, he wasn't too happy about doing this scene. But, it's a very, like I said, brief cameo of some flashbacks going on back in the hippie days. And now, 20 years later, he's back as this acid version of him with the full makeup and everything going on and wreaking havoc and killing members of the fraternity and the pledges as well, using various tools, including his own bodily organs. So, again, I'm not going to show all of the kills because I don't want to spoil everything for you guys who have not seen this movie. But you can tell a lot of them definitely got dulled down quite a bit from all the cuts they had to make. And it's just a damn shame we can't see that full, uncensored, uncut version because it would definitely be some kind of spectacle. But yeah, during all this as well, you have the character of Bonner, who is kind of like the leading man, kind of the main character. And you have some sense of connection to the character of Sid and Bonner. And Bonner also kind of sticks up for his fellow pledges, his fellow brothers, and kind of, mans up a lot of times and everything. Again, this is from 1990, so it's right at the end of that 80s era, kind of slasher-esque, kind of regular horror film, and then, like I said, the first half being a kind of sex comedy. And overall, I really enjoyed this one. I had a lot of fun with it. Not perfect. Yes, the acting could have been better. The effects could have been better. Again, we've gone over that plenty of times already about them having to cut a lot of things. But all in all, I think it's a pretty enjoyable watch, especially if you have friends over and a couple drinks and things like that. My only complaint again is that laugh from frat brother Dan. Yeah, that laugh will just get stuck in your head, and it doesn't go away for like a whole day, at least for me. So yeah, I definitely recommend this one, guys. If nothing else, stream it first, see if you like it, and if you do, pick up either the Vinegar Syndrome release or the 101 Filmz release, depending on what region you are, and have a good time with it. So as far as features on here, you get an interview with the director, Paul Ziller, which runs about 15 minutes. He talks about the budget of this film. This is about $200,000 to make. He talks about his first Super 8 camera and things like that, his background. This was his first feature that he directed and everything. And again, like I said, the 5 times to the MPAA. He talks about that. And overall, it's a pretty decent interview with the director. Then you have Graduating to Horror, interview with Joyce Snyder, the writer and producer of Pledge Night. Runs about 10 minutes. She started as a adult film producer. She actually researched real hazing rituals from other fraternities and things like that. And everything you see in this movie is based on real things, or, stuff people used to do before they started getting a little more strict on what you could do at their fraternities and everything. She talks about casting this movie in her apartment, and neighbors complaining and things like that, because you had all these people in here auditioning for all these roles, especially the Dan character with that laugh and everything. I'm sure that was really loud. And she talks about how much Joey Belladonna complained about his whole scene and things like that. Then you have Hazing from Hell. It's an interview with Robert Lentini, who played Silvera. He is the pledge with the awesome mullet. Doesn't have a whole lot going on in the movie, but he is the one that gets, doused with the cockroaches and made to eat the worms and everything. He talks about how he started by making a movie himself and then doing plays and things like that. And he does talk about his mullet himself, and he talks about the scene with the roaches and the worms. Then you have The Bad Man, an interview with Arthur Landquist, who played Dan. Now this one runs 27 minutes. And this guy, and you could tell this by watching the movie, this guy loves to talk. But it went by pretty quick, I will say. For a almost a half an hour interview, it went by pretty fast. So he talks about how he got his start in film and everything, about the audition process, and everything like that. He talks about Sid's kills and the one-liners that Sid would say, and how he kind of thought this was going to be a franchise, and other people did too because of the killer and everything like that. You have people like Freddy Krueger that have the one-liners and things. He thought it was going to be something of that nature, but obviously did not become that way. And then he goes into really great detail about his death scene and how it was done, how the floor was elevated, and the fake body, and he goes into depth quite a bit on his death. Then you have a 3-minute locations featurette. It's basically just talking about the frat house that this was actually shot at. I think they said it was shot between like 2 different frat houses, and it's informative, I guess. It's nothing great. I thought it was going to be a little bit better than it was. Again, only at 3 minutes. You're not going to get a whole lot. And then you have a theatrical trailer as well. So again, all those features will be on both releases. So all in all, again, guys, yeah, I had a good time with this one, all in all. And I definitely recommend picking this one up. If nothing else, stream it. Pick it up at the halfway to Black Friday sale on Vinegar Syndrome. And I know 101 Filmz themselves also have sales quite often as well. So either one that you're wanting to purchase. There will be sales and things like that coming up, I'm sure. So yeah, that's about it for this review, guys. As always, peace, love, happiness to all y'all, and I will catch you next time. Later.
Whoa! Oh man, this all better be just a joke.
Which way to the protest?